titled Everything, and I do mean everything. The verse we're going to be looking at is 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 17 from the New King James, which says, "Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. Old things have passed away. Behold, all things have come new." The first thing we're going to look at is the reason that we're forgiven. We look down at verse 21 of the same chapter, and it says, "For he made him who knew no sin to be sin for us, that we might become the righteousness of God." And basically that's saying it's the death and resurrection of Jesus that made and continues to make us new. This doesn't just change one aspect of our lives. It changes every single facet of our being every day. The way we approach our friends and family members, as well as the way we approach our culture. This is borne out in Ephesians 4, verses 22 through 24, from the Message translation, which says, "But that's no life for you. You learn Christ. My assumption is that you paid careful attention to him, being well instructed in the truth, precisely as we have it in Jesus. Since then, we do not have any excuse for ignorance. Everything, and I do mean everything, connected with the old way of life has to go. It's rotten through and through. Get rid of it. And then take on an entirely new way of life. A God-fashioned life. A life renewed from the inside and working itself into your conduct as God accurately reproduces his character in you." And with that, we're going to move on to my second point, which is the influence of culture that today's society has on us. Because the culture of today goes directly against the fundamental principles of Christianity. This is very similar to the Israelites and the Egyptian culture in the time of Moses. Many scholars believe that the Israelites were influenced by the Egyptian culture of polytheistic belief. Professors like Laser Goncrew from London, England. And we can see the evidence of this in Exodus chapter 32, verses 2 through 4 from the New King James, which says, "And Aaron said to them, break off the gold earrings which are in your ears of your wives, your sons and your daughters, and bring them to me." Verse 3, "So all the people broke off the gold from their ears and brought them to Aaron." Verse 4, "And he received the gold from their hands and fashioned it with an engraving tool and molded a calf. And then they said, 'This is your God, O Israel, that brought you out of the land of Egypt.'" So it's obvious that the Israelites were influenced by the Egyptian culture. The thing is, the Israelites have been set free, given life, and changed forever. The old was gone and the new had come, but they were stuck in the mindset that they had in Egypt. Stuck in the same frame of mind they had before Christ delivered them. And the same thing happens to us today. God delivers us, but we never change our mindset. And then we tend to fall back on the culture that's influenced us so much. And we can see this once again with the Israelites and the golden calf. And with that, we're going to move on to my third point, which is the connections. And we can look at the story of Jesus, what we looked at earlier, and the story of Moses and the Israelites, and see quite a bit of symbolism. Moses was a type of Christ, the man that God used to save the people. The Israelites, who represent all of us, are the ones who need saving. And finally, we look at Pharaoh, who acted as a type of Satan, the man who oppressed the people of God. Now, in these two stories, we see the love of God on such an amazing level. As well, we see the promise of life that God gives. God used Moses to deliver the Israelites out of the hand of Pharaoh, just as Christ protects and leads us from Satan in today's society. The difference in us and the Israelites today are the choices that we need to make to change our mindsets. Because now we're in Christ, and now we're changed. We'll look back to the verse we started out with today, which is 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 17 from the New King James, which says, "Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. All things have passed away. Behold, all things are new." So the question for us today is, we make the changes that the Israelites did.